So they taught me how to read the Bible, how to get on my knees and pray. And because I did live in the hood, you know, the cannabis and everything else was just natural. It was just a part of my life to be in it or try to get with it or sell it or do something like that. So, and that never felt enough for me.
Connect with us on the Emotion Wellness Podcast for a transformative journey of human connection. Witness personal stories, improve your mental health education, and acquire valuable resources for optimizing your well-being. And visit emotionwellness.com for more information.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Emotion Wellness Podcast. I'm here with my brother, Jason Turner.
What's up, Frank?
I am Frank Parisi, and we have a special guest here today. This is my brother, Lonjeray. He is an energy healer, and welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you, bro. I met Longe about, I don't know, probably like several months ago.
A few months ago.
Yeah, and I've done some meditations with you. I've done some work with you, and I've definitely had some breakthroughs, with your work. So we wanted to invite you on the show, kind of talk about the work that you do, why you do it, and kind of what I want to do. We like to go on like a little bit of like the journey of like, where your life started, what led you on this path that you're on today. And so, yeah, I'm going to give you the floor on that. Like, where did you, let the listeners know, where are you from? Where did life start for you?
Well, Jamaican background, Caribbean background, born in Toronto, and went back to Jamaica many times to learn more about my roots and the African diaspora. My mom and dad are born in the Caribbean, but also had a strong influence into shamanism, spirituality. So when I was born, I grew up into the very shamanic, ceremonial, spiritual background.
Amazing.
So I was born into a lot of the intuitive nature that people are seeking now. And my dad studied with Edgar Cayce, and I've just been doing a lot of research, and they've had their theological studies done. So growing up in the household with Caribbean parents and living in the ghetto, but also with a strong background, created who I am today.
Now, how long were you in Toronto for?
Till about 19.
19.
Maybe I would go back to Jamaica and Barbados every year, maybe sometimes through the March break, spring break, for a whole 2 months in summer break. So it became my stomping ground and family to learn more about the roots.
And then where did life take you from 19?
My dad passed. My dad passed at 18, 19, and that's when everything just shifted for me. One time, and he died in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
Brooklyn, New York. And my mom and dad had many churches, so they had an organization out in Brooklyn there, so he was back and forth. And once he passed, that's when I took the path of Buddhism, or learning more about Mahayana Buddhism, Theravada Buddhism, Vipassana, and learning about breathing. You talked about Wim Hof. So I knew about ice baths and breathing and what the NFL players were doing at the age of 18. So it's a very long time ago. And so I got into that very early when my dad passed.
Did you know like the work that you do today? And I'm still, I want to learn more about it. But what you do today, did you know that's what you wanted to do, like from an early age?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, no. I felt that I was the dumbest person on the planet, actually, because every class I failed, pretty much. And the teachers felt sorry for me. So they ended up passing me through each grade because of my charisma, my athleticism, just them feeling sorry for me. So ultimately, it was a struggle for most of my life to actually become someone, to think like, who am I going to be? So it was really scary, and had a lot of issues growing up. So it made me stronger, made me persevere, and actually wanted to become more like a bodybuilder, because I saw the magazines, the bodybuilding magazines, and that was very easy to read. right? And comics. So that's how I kind of got by with education and learning how to read or write. So it was, so my first years was a struggle and didn't know who I was going to be. But I did know that my mom and dad were spiritualists and they were teaching me how to pray, how to feel my emotions. So I knew when my dad died, I was like, okay, well, maybe I could take up what my dad does. But I knew I wasn't going to be a professional soccer player because I didn't have the resources that others had.
When did you first take a step to do what you do now? Like, when was the moment of like, oh, okay, this is like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm confident. Maybe you didn't have confidence, but you had enough to know I'm gonna get started, right?
Yeah. That was pretty much when I went to the first Vipassana retreat. If people look it up, Vipassana, it's a silent Buddhist retreat. And once I was like, ooh, you get to be silent? I was like, I'm a Jedi. I could sit in silence. I could sit in a dark room. So when I went there, because my dad passed, and I learned about trauma and grieving at the age of 18 and 19 and how to heal yourself there. So meditation was that path. So once I sat at the monastery and the monk saw me, he was like, you got a bigger mission than just to come here and learn. You might have to teach this kind of work. And I was like, okay, we'll see. And then immediately I got certified into becoming a yoga teacher.
How long were you at the monastery?
30 days. 30 days. I did 2 30-day retreats with no talking.
Wow. Where?
Toronto, outskirts of Toronto.
Wow.
Sudbury. Yeah.
So when your dad passes, you're feeling that, and the grief and the pain, I'm assuming, have you seeking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then how did you, what cued you into, like, was it an intuitive thought to go to a monastery? Like, so here's the thing. The reason I ask is it's unique for an 18-year-old to experience emotional pain and not go to substances or go to, and I don't, maybe that was part of it, but what I mean is most of the, especially the ones that we see, right? That's not the answer. The answer is some other form of relief.
Yeah, because again, how my mom and dad nurtured me. So they taught me how to read the Bible, how to get on my knees and pray. And because I did live in the hood, you know, the cannabis and everything else was just natural. It was just a part of my life to be in it or try to get with it or sell it or do something like that. So, and that never felt enough for me. So when he passed, I you know, still had that kind of little boy energy to be a rebel, but there was a piece of me, and I feel like we all have that, to be like, if you listen, and we talked about that voice that kind of leads you somewhere. I had that within me at a very early age to hear a voice telling me what to do. Just for one example, you know, there was a lot of theft, and B&Es we call it, or auto theft. So I would always be able to get out the car before the situation went down when they were stealing the car. So those situations, I was always intuitive to come out of and be safe.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now let me ask you, what led you to the path that you're actually on now? Like, what opened it up, and like what started it? Obviously you said that, but what, like, I know you went to the monastery, but what's after
What was the key to unlock it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because I was very intuitive and emotionally connected to myself, when I went to Vipassana meditation, I had my second out-of-body experience. So I know what NEDs are now, right? Near-death experiences, but I didn't know what it was in the beginning. So that is what changed my life. I knew that I was not in my body anymore when I had that experience at the monastery. But I actually had it before, so I made a neural connection, and that was at the age of 8 years old. So I had that same experience I was having at the monastery.
At 8?
At 8.
What was that like?
So my mom and dad, so they're Christians, but because they have a shamanic background, an African background, it's very, call it woo-woo, very like out there. right? So there's this technique that they do in Africa, and I'm very blessed to be a part of this, that takes you into transcendental states by specific breathing. So like, all this Wim Hof stuff, I was doing it when I was like 9 and 10 years old, right? So we were doing these specific breathing and these exercises with the body within the church. And people call it baptism. So when you go to a Pentecostal church or some other revival church, they put you in a fake kind of tank or a pool, and they dip you. So we don't, you don't do that in Africa or the Caribbean. You actually get baptized in the ocean. There's a protocol to getting baptized. So I went through the whole protocol to get baptized at 8, and I had my out-of-body experience there.
Wow.
So I was out of my body, literally. And I was like looking down. So that was my first experience that woke me up to something that's different, not this reality. But I didn't know how to integrate it. So it just was like a blip.
Did that, having such a unique and powerful experience at that age, I know you said you didn't really know what it was back then, but did it impact your relationships with people?
Oh, 100%. I was the outsider. People thought I was weird. All the girls, I was telling Frank, all the girls made fun of me. No one wanted to date me. You're ugly. But I knew that I was different. But I was just like, everyone's different. All right? Everyone's special. But why was it me that was the only one that was being outcasted? I was like, oh, well, I wasn't aware, but as my dad passed, I was like, okay, I'll find my tribe.
How old were you when you found your tribe?
Like 23. 23. Yoga. I've been teaching yoga almost 20 years. Ashtanga yoga.
What's that?
So there's different kinds of yogas. There's Jiva Mukti, Ashtanga, Bikram, and Shivananda. There's all these different styles. Now you have core yoga, right? Like power yoga. But it comes from a lineage from India. So when I learned Buddhism and going into yoga, I was like, ooh, this is ancient. And there's some technology to moving in a triangle position. Like, I got that download. And we must move in certain ways that help our organs unclog themselves, so to say. So once I studied the science of the poses, I was like, it's genius. So that's how I started to really evolve my practice.
Now let me ask you this. You do a lot of the energy healing work. How did you tap into that?
The energy healing work didn't really start until I got into psychedelics.
Okay.
Because when you take, whether it's a micro, and we can talk about it here, mycelia, because it's more legalized now, there's something that it does neurologically to your brain. And Science and MAPS Institute from California has done research on this for over 30, 50 years now. So because I was dyslexic and didn't know how to read and write and was reading muscle magazines. Oh, and also reading the Bible, because my mom knew that I couldn't read. So at least she did her best to put the Bible in front of me and like read some scriptures or even read a word or something. So I realized that paying attention to what I like would help me evolve tremendously in that space. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So what's that evolution look like for you?
I know, you're going deeper. So again, the psychedelics, when I felt the microdosing, I felt the neurons firing. I felt like static in my head and something was going on. And because I was already a meditation practitioner, I was already doing my yoga practice in my 500 hours and my 1,000 hours. And when I was able to move into that space, it was very easy for me to sit in one position. When you see these pictures like a Buddhist monk and they're just sitting there. But then I was just like, and we talked to like Redman, for example, and all the brothers from back in the days, and you see some of their clips, I was just like, ooh, why do they got like that ninja Asian sound there? Like, wha wah, right? And I was like, is that Shaolin? I've heard something about Shaolin. So I looked up Shaolin and started watching all these Shaolin movies. Shaolin versus Lama.
Yeah, the Shaolin monks.
Yeah, Shaolin monks. And I saw that they were standing on their tips. So that was just the inspiration to know that with these microdosing and the neurons and these connections and athleticism, great example, i.e. Shaolin monks, I was like, I want to do that. So it was very easy for me to know that I wanted to upgrade myself neurologically, neurochemically, and then obviously studied Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, all their work. But before they came, I was already on the path to learning about how to become a Jedi, ultimately.
I love that. So what does it look like? What does your daily practice look like?
Because my brain is not like your average person, because of the dyslexia, the severe dyslexia that I had for a very long time, I couldn't create a regiment. And when Dr. Huberman and so many other great ones that talk about sleep patterns and your routine in the morning, I couldn't make one up. But at least I knew that doing these things worked. So I just did whatever. I was like, I'll try that, I'll try that, I'll try that. It was never in a order. So I have clients. I work one-on-one with clients. And I say, do what feels good. Because I'm that guy. I'm that rebel that always tests every single thing that someone says. And I need to prove it to be correct. Because of how dyslexic I was, I actually was very skeptical. And that's why I like science.
I love that. So I was trained somatically for therapy, so somatic experiencing. And one of the things that stuck out to me initially when I went to the first training was the way that the training was conducted was sort of, the instructions were to not inhibit yourself, right? So that there's so many things that happen to us on a day-to-day basis due to norms and like the way that we're supposed to be. So you're sitting down and your back hurts, but to get up might be rude or to do this. And so there was this permission to do what you needed to do. It's like if you need to go over there and take a nap, if you need to go outside. It wasn't like some of the stuff I was used to. I came out of the military, which is like you're going to, you want to talk about the most
rigid.
Yeah, super rigid. And so it just clicked for me in that moment around the benefit of, and for some people, the liability of being able to do whatever you want, because some people will take that too far.
Exactly.
But the permission to just follow your body. And I love what you're saying, because I've had very rigid routines. I've had very rigid nutrition protocols. I've had and done well with them. I tend to today have more of a loose, I would say it's not rigid. It's somewhat structured, but very much more like, oh, I feel like this right now. I'm going to go do this. Exactly. And so to hear you say that, and I think there's a lot of power in that. And I do feel like right now, in the general discussion, whether it's social media or other outlets, there is more talk about people dismissing the structured routine, right, in the morning, and having this like super rigid protocol. And for some people it works really well, and for others,
because if you learn how you operate, it's just easy. Some people prefer to go to bed late. Some people prefer to, some people have a different REM cycle. Some are at 3 a.m., some are at 12 a.m., right? So everyone's different. Some people get their energy at 5 p.m., some people get their energy at 9 a.m. So you just got to feel it out and see what that is. So for me, I say, you have these 5 things, just get them in. Just get them in. But if people get more stressed around trying to get in the exact time.
Right.
It's so funny. All right. And then if you're off something, then you're like guilty about it. Just get them in. Start there. Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you want to move into structure, because maybe it's something that you want to create in your life and you have a goal, absolutely. Right? Your to-dos, your to-do list for the day and checklists and so forth. Yes. But ultimately, is there fluidity? 4-hour work week, baby.
So let me ask you, what does your work look like with clients?
So the work, and why I said all of that, because with having all of these modalities that I have, I noticed that I can't present just this one modality to this person. So having like my toolbox, my handy kit, I get to work with people online. And working with them in person, I noticed that there was a certain energy. That's why everyone loves retreats. That's why everyone loves therapy, one-on-one, in the office. We're right here together. You can feel me. But the more I became more authentic with learning all those modalities now, and I kept revisiting them, the more I came authentic with myself, I was having a deeper resonance and a connection with each person I was having over the phone. So I was realizing like, wow, when COVID happened, we don't need to do retreats anymore. We don't really need to be in person anymore. So I honed in on my telepathic abilities, my connection to you. And that's another conversation about being a cephalopod. I tell people we're all cephalopods, and it's around telepathic communication. So us sitting here, us talking, we're feeling a vibration, we're getting the energy, we're getting the frequency from each other. And whether it's Tony Robbins or whoever, they do big, massive experiences where there's 20,000 people on Zoom or so forth, So I was able to hone in on that, whether if it's video or just audio, daily clientele where they can call me, access me at any time, and I give them my protocol. And they're able to feel the frequency like I'm right in front of them.
Right. Right. Now, are each of the protocols specifically tailored to each client's needs?
Yes, and I still have a baseline. I still have a base protocol. We all know that breathing works. We all know that cold plunge works. We all know, right? Movement, running, the whole shebang. So there's the basics, and then I tailor from specifically what they're wanting to attract, or learning how to let go of something that is not theirs, trauma.
From where you sit today, are you in the process? Have you considered the next evolution?
Yeah. Yes. That's a big question. I love that one. AI is here. It's been here. The first hoverboard, when the hoverboards came out, I have a hoverboard. I have 2 hoverboards, and it's AI, it's just like 6 years ago. And you can see what's happening through social media AI. They're building robots that can box with you if you've seen them on Instagram. So we are AI. I know this. We are bones, skin, blood, veins, connective tissue, and we feel it so real that we're not a machine. But I was just like, what if God was like, I'm going to build a machine. I'm going to build this whole simulation as a computer, so to say. And each human has the ability to compute just like a computer. Are we able to take ourselves to the next level? So just studying a lot of great ones that I've studied, which is like Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, and so many others, we can see that the body, the brain, is programmed between 0 and 7 years old. So you asked me the evolution. So I feel my message is to help people deepen their wisdom and their knowledge of themselves, because from these people that I've studied with, these guys, we've only accessed 10% of our brain. Maybe Einstein, 15%, you know? Elon, 10%. Maybe these guys are geniuses. There's a lot of geniuses out there. Yourself, genius, okay? But we're only still accessing a small percent.
Yeah.
So when I meet people and they act like they pretty much know it all, even Elon doesn't know it all. Because even though he might be an expert in this one area, he's lacking in so many others. And all of us are like that. All of us. So my mission and the next part of it, and I've had many businesses in the past around meditation and recordings and binaural beats, to implement the human AI energy more within us. So letting people know that they are as powerful or even more. They're saying that our brains compute faster than a mile of buildings that are servers. That's next level. It makes sense because the brain is processing billions of bits of information as you're hearing me talk right now. And you're like, oh, that plant is green. The light's shining. Like it's processing, but you don't think it, but it's just processing. So to upgrade, so my protocols around getting into the brain in less than 15 minutes, trying to reach gamma or theta frequencies or even delta so people can sleep because the body's overworked. So sometimes we can get people into sleep real quick. But ultimately, programming people so they understand how much wisdom they have and how much they have not accessed. So that's my goal and my trajectory for the future, whether if it's app, seminars, or just doing more of this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's interesting too, because like we're, some of the stuff around just the body in general, like how we think of fascia and what we used to think it was and that what we know it is, and the energy and the information transmission. And we used to think the bones hold up everything, but it's like more the muscle and the fascia or what hold up the system. It's just wild how we live in this super technologically advanced current state, and we think we have access to all of this wild stuff, which we do, and then you look at the human body and we still haven't figured it out. That's wild. So
yeah. So I like being in humility, even though we have a lot of wisdom and knowledge and understanding. In Jamaica, we say overstanding. All right. So there's a place where we get to be humble within our egos, because our egos need to be here and we just get to put it in check. That's it. But we need our egos to run from the lion or to run from the tiger if it's coming our way, or if the fire is too hot, right? So we need it, but then we just get to put it in check and tame it.
Well, and I also feel like this is something that I've had to come to terms with, and the story work aspect, and Mark England, who created the Unlifted method, really has helped me see that there's no value in being small, and not owning who we are and what we're capable of. And I totally agree with you. Like, it's not about being overconfident. Like I'm always pursuing the next evolution of performance. That's just something that I want to be. I don't ever think I'd be a master, just because I think you're always a student and you're always learning.
Yes.
But I want to be, he and I talk a lot about this, and it's really his concept that I've adopted, which is just take what I did outside the story work. In that realm, there's a spectrum, and the initial stage is insecure. That's because you don't really know what you're doing. You really don't. You're aware that you don't know what you're doing. And then there's confident, which is like, I can do this, and you hype yourself up. And then there's comfortable. And in any of my what I'm providing as professional services, I want to be in the comfortable space, not the confident, but where it's just what I do.
Beautiful. Well said.
Right? So
well said.
I feel like that's the thing that I've been really focused on lately is, can I get to comfortable? And I believe it's reps and sets. I believe it's humility, right? Understanding that in any given moment with a person that I'm working with, I may, like, I'm sure you've thought this too, like as I'm working with a person one-on-one, I may have an idea or intuitively understand what I want to accomplish next. And it may be solidly formed in my mind, but it's not really what they need or want. And I have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And then just like when I put a word up on the board in a translation, I may think it's this, like I was showing you, like I thought it was going to be spared. And with the guy, he just wanted the word killed. So I was like, okay, we have to go with that. And so much of early stuff for like in the 12-step realm as a sponsor was like very directive. Like, no, you're this, you're going to, it's like you get told. It's just it's a group norm. It's just a social, it's like socially acceptable. Really doesn't do well later on as you evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 12 steps is a level. I call it a level. And then we also could level up, right? But it's a savior. It's a savior. It's a savior for many, the 12. But then you get to come up and out. Because I went to the 12. I didn't tell you that. I went to the 12, but didn't stay there for too long. Because I went and got my yoga certification. I was like, okay, I won't drink. I was drinking 40s. I was doing all of it. I was drinking a bottle of wine. I was young.
So you went to 12-step meetings?
Yeah, just a couple. There's a few, and then studied the whole 12. And I didn't get through all of it, but I know because I was a scripture guy. I was all about the law of God, being kind, reverence, love thy neighbor. So just seeing it, I was like, oh, okay. But there was something within me that changed immediately when I went there. So I didn't need it. I just, everyone's different. But just being in the vicinity of somebody, you can get stuff because it's a frequency. So I knew that I wasn't going to drink again. All right. So it's been a long time. I don't follow the community, but I know that I've been sober that long. It's been like almost 20 years,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you talked about getting downloads and stuff. So I just met my girlfriend had a friend from social media who was given downloads, and her work is with the moon.
Yes.
And
We talked about that today.
Today?
there's a couple. Well,
But I'm
she was
thinking
in
today
town.
is the 28th.
Today's
Yeah, but she was a couple of days. It was like last week. She was coming through town going.
Yeah.
And she's on social media, and was talking about being given downloads regarding information and having the moon and accessing it. And it's wild to hear the conviction, because I haven't pretty much lost all skepticism at this point in my life. Like I'm aware of what's doesn't fit for me, but in the realm of like non-traditional information and universal downloads and the being introduced to shamanic healing from my friend who did my logo I was telling you about, there isn't really anything out of the realm of like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like I never hear anything. Nothing you've said today has been like, oh, that's interesting, or from a disdain perspective, more of, or like I'm not gonna buy that shit. It's more that's interesting because it's interesting. You know, it's wild to hear that kind of stuff and just be super open to it. And I feel like it's really benefited me. And getting introduced to her, I guess you and her remind me similar of like that language of like, she says, I got this download. And I'm always curious with people who have gifts that they're aware of and that they move with. It takes a lot of courage.
And you said something about reps and sets, something like that. And when it comes to the gift, because a lot of people don't know they have it, and all of us kind of do have it, but it's like the pilot light. You know, you're going to turn it up or turn it off. And we get to take the exercise, like the gym, like the what's the book called? Meditation exercise or something like that, where you're taking the awareness of the repetition, of the consistency, and realizing like this is a workout. And my brain will get tired, but I'm going to catch that sentence again and again. And when it comes to being telepathic or reading people or tuning into the room or what feels good with business conversations, that's a practice. It's an exercise.
Absolutely.
It's a set. It's a rep. And I am a behavior. I call myself a behaviorist at the core because I'm studying that when I listen to people and when I hear myself. Right? So I'm listening over and over again. And I'm like, what does that feel like? What's my solar plexus feel like? It sounds kind of weird. It's kind of woo-woo. But ultimately, your belly can feel something when something's up. Right? So if you can tune into that more often when you're doing business meetings or you're doing or you're exchanging money or all these different things, right? we don't tune into that. We're in our mental logic space. Right. So I like how you said that. And when you get to exercise more of your intuition.
Well, it's a muscle, right? It needs to be, I love the word practice because so many of us are thinking we have to do it right the first time and
totally.
be amazing at it.
Yeah. Yeah. When I heard about the 10,000 hours, I was like, I think we need 50,000 hours, 100,000 hours. Tony Robbins was talking about 10,000. I was like, For me, my brain was just like, I need to get it thousands of hours until it's really in there. You know, you and me are beasts in that kind of way. So we want to be able to make sure it's like stamped.
Also, I really resonate with what you said about doing what's right for you and like what feels right and when you have a baseline of self-worth and connection to self that is healthy, you can withstand perceived injustices or hurts or you're not projecting like, oh, I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to get made fun of or I'm going to do that. There's maybe points along the journey that you're feeling that, but you grow into this space of like, no, I have to honor, this is who I am, right? So I've had people come to me early on and be like, you work too much or you're obsessed or there's no balance. I'm like, yeah, I don't want balance.
Yeah.
Fuck
like Goggins, yo.
You know?
It's like Goggins. That's totally Goggins.
In a way, you know, it's like I know what wires me, and like to go sit with somebody and have small talk makes me want to do really bad things to myself. You know what I mean?
No, I understand
but I don't
that.
judge it for somebody else.
Right,
Or like talking
right.
about football does nothing. I don't even know I don't know the players. But if you watch, and it's weird because we live in a society where if I chose not to have children and I choose not to watch sports and I don't really pay attention to famous people, and that's not the norm, right? It's really not. And when you don't do something, oftentimes the person on the other end is offended by that, like as if you're saying it's not good for them. I'm just doing what's good for me.
Right.
Like, congrats, like awesome.
Right.
Or they'll look at me and say, "You don't drink?" Like,
I know.
do you mind is it okay if I don't drink? I'm like, I don't know. Is it okay? Because it's not my I don't give a shit if you drink or not.
We were saying earlier,
Yes.
your
Yes.
universe and everything that you do within your universe is right for you.
And how many people? How many people miss out? How many people miss out?
Yes.
On an exceptional, incredible experience because they're being impacted and driven by what other people think.
They're inauthentic.
Yeah.
With
they're,
themselves.
They're judging and all of their patterns from their mom and their dad and society and conditions of how it should look is all being projected on that one thing you're saying.
It's wild. Yeah, I'm just grateful. It took me a long time. Like I'm not sitting in remorse about that or like feel bad,
it's just
but
a cosmic giggle.
Yeah.
That's what it is really.
I know. I wish I would have been in more my authentic self and in my own integrity a lot longer than it took me.
I get that, but I really don't. I mean, I'm really accepting of like I was 46 and I took what it took.
It took what it took.
I listened to his story and it was interesting because in the past and even recently I would have been like, man, how beautiful it would have been to get that shit at 18 or 19. You know?
Yeah.
But I had none of that. I was like really happy for you. Like, damn, that's really dope that he had it. But I didn't think, I'm really, my practice lately has been really owning my own experience, which is uniquely suited to me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So and when we talk about holographic universe, multiverse, you've heard these terminologies in the quantum field or quantum work. That's how you know, like literally, it's something that we can't even fathom, but we're still learning how to process. And science has just kind of fucked it up for us. But ultimately, you are projecting an image, and that image is me and our brother, and that's Jason, all right? All of us is projecting an image, right? So that image is, according to the philosophy of the ancient ones, that image is actually you. So there's 8 billion of us that's actually you.
I see this. That's the crazy part. After everything I've been through, I see myself in everybody.
Yeah.
Once I get to know them.
We talked about 13.
Once I get to know them.
Yes, I said 13, 14 characteristics.
Yes.
And we can actually write them down,
Yes.
each of the characteristics that we all have and maybe can't admit. But there's actually 8 billion of us. I just got chills saying it.
Yes.
There's so many pieces of us that we have not even accessed.
Yes.
That's why the brain is actually only 10% of its use.
Well, it's also to me why it's critically important for the development of my journey here to be present and in the moment to experience that.
Yes.
Because It's
Amazing.
like the mirrors are gifts. I used to despise them, and there was a really unhealthy relationship I was in right before I started this, and it started my journey. And many moons ago, I would have shared how it was her, right, or it was her, and I would have vilified her. And she was the greatest gift I've ever been given because she created an opportunity for the most growth. And she was a mirror. And I sit here today, right? Literally sit here today and I think of her and I'm so grateful. Like, not a longing, not a need to talk to her, none of that. I'm just like, thank you for being the mirror. And there was a lot of stuff that she said in the moment that I was like, fuck you. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. And when I sit at a more, I'm at a calm, more open space, I'm like, she was spot on. Like, she was literally, she gave it to me. Right.
Yeah.
And it was a gift. And if I was present in the moment and could have heard it, I would have gained instant knowledge about me and my development, what I needed to maybe do with myself, direction to go. And I can totally see that. Like, she was literally my gift.
They're a projection of your inner trauma. Plus, you have also others. Stuff that you're processing simultaneously.
Absolutely.
So it's a double whammy that you're with a partner. She's projecting, she's telling you, pointing at you. You're like you. There's a back and forth, and then there's all these other layers,
it's wild.
bricks,
It's wild.
on top of that process. This is a combo.
And it's like initially think like, oh, I was attracted to her personality based on what I got from my mom.
Yes.
But actually, it's what I got from my mom that's within me now that I was with her for, right? So it's like the layer goes even deeper because it's like, oh, she's not just reminding me of my mom; she's reminding me of me because that's who I became as a result of
Yes.
It's wild.
And until you have the awareness of that, people will operate in that system over and over and over and over and over.
So
again,
when I got sober, I was it wasn't a sober house, but it was two guys bought it. A guy bought a brand new house, and a couple of us moved in. And this is to tell you how old I am. So people don't even know this. We used to take photographs, and they were on paper. They got actual pictures, not on your phone, like digital, but there was like pictures. And I had a box of photographs. And they were all on the floor. And I was like it was like party days and this dude walks in and he goes, man, you got a lot of pictures of the same girl. And they were all different. And it clicked. I was like, holy shit, I've dated the same person.
Wow.
Over and over.
Wow.
Literally. And it was like both physically and, energetically. Yeah, I was blown away. It was like, I was less than a year sober, so still had a lot to process. But I remember that moment like it was yesterday. Like I was looking at this floor and there was a lot of pictures and I was like, it's not the same girl, dude. Like he's like, wait, they all look the same. I'm like, yeah. So it's been the same. And there's that saying, right? Like, are you going to have the same experience? Are you going to relive the same experience over and over for the next 50 years? Or are you going to create a life where, and I forget how it goes, but there's a saying out there like that. And so
I made up when I was meditating at the monastery, I made up that we're walking on a pathway, specifically in Toronto here, we have a sidewalk. And you see the sidewalk has these cracks. But in the hood, sometimes it would actually be a real crack and they're not going to fix it. You know what I mean? So I saw it like you're walking down the same path to go to school every day, because I did. But I would see the same crack. But with that situation that you're processing, or whatever it is mentally, you're slipping, you're tripping on that same crack that you actually see coming. I made this up in my brain. And I was like, wow. And it's like a Spike Lee movie where I'm going back and then doing it again. Back, or going around in the loop and then doing it again. And I was like, why do I keep doing this to myself? By choosing the same woman, by choosing the same business, by doing the same thing, right?
I worked for the same company right before I opened this twice. And the first experience was horrible. And I went back for more.
Right? So the perfect example, exactly.
God, the universe will keep showing us the same experience.
What's the saying? What you resist will persist.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. It'll just keep showing us the same experience over and over again until we break it and do something different.
Yeah.
And then everything opens up.
Dude.
That's when it opens up.
Yeah.
You know? And he went through it before I did. You know, I went through it after
Well, you talked
brother.
about the shamanic experiences and teachings. So again, being a part of that with my mom and my dad, and then also learning with the plant medicines that there's this death process that's happening. And when we choose to do the work like here, even without taking microdosing, you know, us doing the work, the somatic work, and so many others, we're going through the death process. And then Joe Dispenza says that we're pruning those old neural connections.
Yeah.
So they're dying out, and I could see them going.
I see that metaphorically, like
You
but it's
saw it
also
too, right?
literal, right?
Yeah, you
Like,
saw it too.
yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you said it, I saw it too. Yeah.
It's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
But it creates a whole new reality, bro.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
It really is.
I want to tell you guys one more thing, because you mentioned asking me how I got here. Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars was a big part of my days of trying to learn how to come out of being dyslexic, but watching Star Wars and Luke Skywalker and seeing his training, and then also Shaolin, kind of put that into being like, that's me. I'm a Jedi.
You know what's wild, man?
Yeah, I wanted to say that. I felt like important to say that.
Let me
Yeah,
tell
I
you.
love
Let me,
that.
let me
See,
tell
there
you.
you go.
Let me tell you why I think it. Why I think you said it. So, the guy who brought me the message at 12 Step, his name was Andre, and he was black and gay and had HIV. And I grew up in New Hampshire, which is like I didn't have a lot of experience with any of those things.
Yeah.
And I was an angry white kid. And when I got sober, I was only 27. And he saved my life. And the color of his skin wasn't, I didn't have that piece. But the HIV part was, I didn't have a lot of information. I was very ignorant. And I remember getting familiar with him. And the first time I went to his place, he was only in Tucson for one night. And I won't get into a long story, but I randomly found, not random, but I was guided to this meeting. He was in town for one night. The meeting didn't exist. It was like its only second time. It wasn't
pop up.
The only way I could have found it was by an intervention by God, really.
Wow.
I go to this meeting. He does the whole talk. I'm blown away at his story. We start talking. I train dogs for the military. And I remember the first night he said, did you ever think about, because the only thing I had to keep me alive before I got sober was like my connection to my dog. And he said, did you ever think about, and I used to spend a lot of time in a military kennel locked in my dog's house, just crying like myself to heat. And it was many nights, drinking Jack Daniels and crying myself to sleep instead of pulling the trigger. And he said, did you ever think about what God spelled backwards or dog spelled backwards is? And it was simple, but it blew my mind. I went to San Diego to see him. Yeah. And I remember walking in his house and I wasn't, and it's going to sound really ignorant, but it's just where I was at. And it's as vulnerable as I can be. I wasn't scared about eating with his utensils or using his bathroom or, the stuff that like,
Oh, yeah.
your silly head can like, oh my God, I can't be anywhere. None of that existed. And we had this spiritual connection. But the reason I'm telling you the story and it blows me away is the first weekend I went there, we went to a drive-in and he made me watch Star Wars. Never seen the movie before. And it had to do with the spiritual battle and it had to do with the development. And I got it. Like literally, I remember sitting in the back. He had what are they called? It was a Ford, not a pickup. It was like a small pickup truck. I forget what they called them. But anyway, it was brand new. We sat in the bed. He had speakers. And I remember watching that movie and thinking, Star Wars is dumb. Like before we started. And I was so in love with it when it was over. And then I watched I got hooked on movies that had Christ figures and like all of that kind of, I got to recognize that. So thanks for sharing that.
Amazing. Yes, brother.
I love it.
Yeah. And Jedi means to know. To know.
That's interesting, yeah.
So that's why you always hear me say Jedi, is because I walked in, you started talking about language, and that's what I've been studying for so long. So I call everyone, even a woman, a Jedi, because I'm speaking to what you know, to your knowingness.
I love it.
Because I'm projecting that into you, to that word.
Love it.
I love it. So what's next for you? Where are you at now? What are we doing now? What's next?
Brother, I tell you this all the time, every time I see you. I'm in position. Our bodies are spaceships because there's a lot of space inside our bones and our blood, connective tissue. We know this scientifically. And we're in space, literally, right? And is our planet a spaceship? Maybe. But all I know, I'm in position for flight. because the next 10 years is going to be very profound. Prior to this, my last 10 years, all my study and my research has been around vibration therapy and music and sound. So I make pre-recordings for my clients to help them reprogram for sleep and when they wake up. So the future, I'll always say this, I'm the voice of the future. It was an affirmation that I would say, I'm a voice of the future. Alexa doesn't have anything over me. Right? So I'm excited because I'm in position and I'm open to miracles and unexpected miracles. So I just stay in my lane and I watch who's in integrity. And because I like to train like a beast like yourself when it comes to fitness, I like to, I was a personal trainer too and a yoga teacher. So I like to test myself, but I also like to test people's integrity. It's a thing, you know, because I do like to compete. I could admit I like to compete for friends, friendly competition. So we do that at the gym. But I feel like we kind of do that in conversation a little bit. All right. So when we are talking to someone, I'm listening, I'm like, okay, I get to upgrade that way because I'm listening. And I'm like, oh, maybe they have those upgrades too for themselves. Okay. So I'm processing billions of bits of information while I'm listening to people. So this is the evolution of the human AI I was talking about and the future. Because people are not even doing any of this work. And even if you do talk therapy or psychiatry or psychotherapy or even somatic work, it's still very partial. You got to go all in and do all of it to actually be able to find new neural expressions, as Joe Dispenza would say.
Are you online? Do you have a website or social media? Or?
Yeah, because I'm word of mouth, just Instagram, Lonjeray the 5th.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's where we could find my man, Lonjeray the 5th on Instagram.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you for coming on today,
Yeah,
my brother.
brother.
I love kicking it with you. I love the conversations. I hope the listeners, I know people are going to love today. Today's been a great day. I just want to thank you for coming on, sharing everything about you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I
it's
love
been
it, man.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I love you energetically. Next time we come back, we can talk about geometry.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I love geometry.
I'd like to introduce you to a couple of people too. So
amazing.
My friend Alex you guys would click, and my girlfriend actually. She's
Without a doubt.
She's got some downloads. So.
Yes.
We're always uploading and downloading.
Absolutely,
to the field.
brother.
That's
Yes, that's what it's about, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right on.
All right,
Well
awesome.
done, Frank. You're doing a pretty good job, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for connecting with us on today's episode of the Emotion Podcast, where we discuss all things mental health. Connect every week as we explore incredibly intimate stories of persistence and hope, delve into mental health education, and explore valuable resources. Available on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And visit emotionwellness.com for more information.